So I was thinking about the future a little while ago. You know, about how society changes as those who are young become old, and the culture of today's youth will be the old-fashioned things of tomorrow. You know, like, you know, really thinking into the future type
very
stuff.
existential.
Yeah,
Existential.
What did I say?
My friend?
Yeah,
What did I say?
existential.
Existential.
No, I said existential.
Yeah. I know it's pretty existential, but you know, like that's what happens when
You're
I
having that
masturbate.
quarter life crisis as well.
You just stood on the punchline, dickhead.
I
You literally stood on the punchline.
Welcome to Pint Party.
No, you know what? Fuck it. Keep it. Fuck it.
All right, no, hold on. Fuck it. People already, we've exposed, so you might as well just continue with it and then hit the punchline.
Okay, so I was gonna say, like, I know I'm getting existential.
So defeated.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I was planning for you guys to respond at particular times because I thought I knew you guys better than I thought I did, and you responded at exactly the wrong times. That's why I was like trying to wait for you to respond. It was going to be
unpredictable.
No, I saw it. Like you gave the classic look up, head nod.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
I got it.
He's opened up some window for banter here.
Yeah.
There's dialogue now.
Had you not predict that I was going to hit quarter life crisis?
Is that because you're in one right now?
I consistently have a quarter life crisis.
No, that's cool. No, I was, but I wasn't expecting you to hit it right as I was hitting the punchline.
Wait, so that's the punchline?
No.
Quarter life crisis?
No, the quarter life crisis. No, the punchline is that I know I was talking really existential, but that's what happens when I masturbate.
There's the punchline.
You've never had an existential wank?
No, hold on. For everyone listening at home, what you were referring to should be deemed as the post-cum clarity.
What?
Yes.
It is, but like I wanted to make an existential wank joke. That's what I was going to call it.
No, I respect that, but the term...
It was a twofer.
And if it's not coined already, then we're officially coining it. That coin, you should only make your males, and possibly females as well, actually, only make your biggest decisions post-nut, because that is when you have your most optimal post-cum clarity. That is when your mind is most at ease, and you can make more rational decisions.
I've never thought about it like that before, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think I should be a thing.
I mean, you can call it post-sex clarity as well.
No. I feel like having another person that will just ruin the entire thing. It needs to be just on your own.
Oh yeah, no, you got to have alone time thinking about it, right?
Yeah,
Another person there will just get in your way.
Absolutely.
No, I agree with you.
No, but the joke was that in the middle of it was existential, not afterwards.
Actually, that's interesting because I have the existential afterwards because it's like you look back, you look over, and you go, "Did I really just wank?"
I don't actually. Like, this is the joke, Dave. I don't actually do. That was the joke. Is that like it was existential during? That was the funny.
It's a multi-layer joke because I totally do. Do you not?
Not in the middle. No.
The post you do.
Yeah.
Because you have the post-cum clarity.
I am learning so much about your wanking habits right now, and
this isn't just us. That's everybody.
This is men.
No, it's not just men. Women have it too.
Oh, women have. Oh, yeah, no. That's what I said. I was like, women too.
Yeah. I've heard stories of women saying before they bought cars, they rubbed one out just to have that clarity. You know, just like a high-risk purchase, you want to like have a clear head.
I've never done that before.
I apparently do it without even knowing I do it. So I have a wank in the morning, and then it's like, oh, all right. Oh, I apparently have a business meeting at 12 o'clock. Thank God I had that wank earlier, though, because I wouldn't be operating at my most optimal post-cum clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
What a way to start.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with a ruined joke and ruined cum joke. Ruined orgasm.
If that isn't, the most quintessential banter of us ever, I feel like,
I mean, we're not really Pint Party if we don't at least hit one sexual-based joke.
Well, hey, now we filled that quota for this episode.
Yeah, we did. But but here's the thing, right? It wasn't just like off the cuff. Like I wrote this out. I had a whole thing planned.
Oh, fuck it then, John. Come on, read it. Read it then.
I've already done it. I mean, and it was leading into my second bit, which was sort of like thinking about the future. Right. This is how you'll know that so Gen Z right now, they're like 18 to 20, right? You'll know when they've kind of reached their maturity, right? When you start to see the first Gen Z billionaires, right? Which we haven't got yet. But you'll know that they'll be there because they'll start making...
Hold on, wait. Define Gen Z.
So
I find this really hard to define.
Yeah, me too.
I've always had a problem when it comes to you say generation.
Yeah.
It's so subjective because what is defined... Because I know there is one, but I don't even think that should be the way it should be looked at. How many years in between...
Because
it goes 25 is what they look at as a gen?
Baby boomers, Gen X, Gen Y Is millennials separate to Gen Z or are millennials Gen Z?
No. Millennials are Gen Y.
Okay.
Yeah.
So baby boomers is easy because that one is very hard and fast defined. It's post-war, right?
Yeah.
That idea of like, they
Gen-
came back from war.
Then
So
Gen
they breed.
X is like,
But the Gen X, Y, and Z are generally defined by a morale or something, like who those kinds of people are.
But it's
Whereas
also-
baby boomers defined like actually by a time.
Yeah, no.
X, Z, and Y are tried to define by times, but they're more or less now really defined by like their demeanor. So like the Gen Zs really are like, so how the baby boomers define Gen Z is like stuck up. Don't have respect, like because they grow up in such an easy culture.
Yeah, but
like,
Gen X copped that as well. Like every generation says the generation after them are entitled shits.
But then how are you? It's like that's what I'm getting at. Like, what is it a defined range of years that have to have gone
I would say
by?
actually I would. I would say it's people born after 2000 or 1999.
Would you not call them millennials then?
No. Millennials are the people who were teenagers and kids and teenagers in between 2000 and 2010. So they were born in.
They were born in the 90s.
They were born in the 90s.
So
or the late 80s.
Thus making them Gen Y?
Yeah, that's Gen Y. Gen Y is sort of like 85 to 95-ish.
yeah, I'm according to the regular sort of the set dates of when these things happen, I'm on the cusp of basically I'm a millennial.
Yeah, you
based
got in right at the end.
I got in at 96, so like I'm right on the.
So from 96 till what now?
Now,
really?
pretty
and then,
much.
So people born now in about 10 to 15 years will have a letter associated.
They'll have
to
a
them.
different letter, yeah.
yeah.
Right. So
okay, but then harkening back, so Gen Z is 2000.
that's what I was saying. 2000 on, because that generation is the generation that grew up with smartphones and the internet.
Yeah.
Being a normal thing. We grew up with the transition. So we know you and I grew up in a time before the internet was a thing and after the internet was a thing. Right? So we remember both.
I grew up when the internet was a thing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're kind of more Gen Z, even though, you're like right on the end of millennials.
You're like bang on the cusp.
Yeah,
because
it's
I
like
think
it's not perfect.
Exactly.
we touched on it like on some episode where we're just like, you remember the dial-up?
Yeah.
Like,
I had dial-up in my house.
I feel like
when I
that-
was growing up.
If you're remembering a time where you don't remember dial-up, you're a part of a whole other generation to me. You are a whole other kind of generation to me. If you don't remember dial-up or basic bullshit ADSL.
But also, we remember a time when, like, computers just weren't a common part of life.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
The only reason why I had computers in my house at all was because my dad was a web developer during the .com boom. Right, and that's like, and we were the exception to the rule. We were like a fancy house because we had multiple computers. Yeah, and with that, welcome to Pint Party, a podcast designed to turn a beer and a chat into a tax write-off. I'm your host, John McLeish. Usually we start this earlier, but Dave wanted to insist on defining fucking Gen Z and ruining my fucking joke. So fuck you, Dave. Right, thank you for joining me this day on the podcast.
Someone didn't have his fucking morning post-com clarity.
No, I didn't, because I got a fucking head cold. I'm already stuffed up here. And joining us as well, returning once again, JJ, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good to
Thank
be
you.
here. Good to
Thank
be
Do
here.
you like how that you've spent so much time away that every time you're introduced, it has to be returning once again?
It makes me feel
condescendingly.
No, it makes me feel really special. I feel like I'm that special guest now. That's like, and she's back again. You're like, yeah, I am.
You have fans.
Thanks, guys.
You have fans.
Yeah, you do.
From what I'm hearing from the fan grapevine, people like the JJ.
Oh, there are Team JJ for
yeah,
sure.
there's Team JJ out
it.
there.
Oh yeah.
I respect
John, you
these-
have some fans too. Don't
I
get
know.
me wrong, you got fans.
I know, that always surprises me. I'm
Yeah.
like, really? Why?
I don't think I have fans. I think I have people that watch from the outside and critique and hate me.
Well,
but I
you
don't
are,
think
no, but
they're
I feel like
pro-David.
you are the person with the punchable face.
Okay.
As your Instagram poll said yesterday.
Because JJ and I were discussing it wasn't really discussing. I asked her and she fucking completely foregoed any kind of discussion and just basically said, no, David, you have the most punchable face of all time. Now, I was trying to get on a discussion of, because I know we've had it on a past episode of Hollywood punchable faces, but I think we should do a punchable face all time discussion real quick.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Here's why I said...
And it's got to be Will Poulter, the dude who literally just got announced to star in the Amazon Lord of the Rings.
I'm so keen
series.
for that. I love him.
Oh, no, I'm kidding. No, you love him?
He's great.
Oh, he's the definition.
I love him because he was in that really shitty Narnia Dawn Treader movie and he killed it as the stuck-up cousin. That's the only reason why I like him.
Okay, fair enough. It's the Benedict Cumberbatch theory coming into play because I just can't look at him act because he just has an unfortunately stupid face.
I mean, yeah.
Like,
Okay. So when you put out the question, like, do I, David, have a punchable face? Yes, no. I said yes. But to be fair, though, that doesn't make you special or unique. Lots of people have a very punchable face.
Yeah.
Like lots and lots
for
of
you,
people.
okay,
Like you'd be
I
surprised.
understand the subjectivity behind it. So
Like-
then, how would you?
Like-
what kind of face do you look at and go, "Oh boy, do I want to fucking punch him in the face right now, or her in the face?"
The better question would be, who has a face that I don't want to punch? For me, like I want, like 99% of faces I want to punch.
Whose face wouldn't you punch? Like, line up with the humans of history, and they're
Yeah.
like, "All right, you'll punch all of them, but I won't punch you, man." But why?
Tom Holland.
Yeah,
Like we talked about him last week. And
yeah, he's the most
we've already
objectively
explained that.
attractive man of all time.
Yeah, we
He really
talked
is.
about that a while ago and why he is. He's a very attractive man.
See, since we discussed that, all I've been able to think about is Tom Holland, how attractive he is, and it's just really distracting in everyday life.
But I even talked about how I'd fuck Daniel Day Kim. I'd still punch him in the face, right?
Yeah,
But
no, I agree.
But that would be more of a kink thing at that point.
I
Like if
agree
Daniel
with
Day
that.
Kim was like, "Hey, punch me in the face because
I'd
I
be like-
can't finish
I'd be like,
otherwise," I'd be
done.
like, "All right, done."
Done.
And I wouldn't feel.
I'll
bad
do
about
any.
it
I'll
either.
do anything for
I
Daniel
would,
Day
I would
Kim.
not even feel bad about
I'll do
it.
anything for him. He's
Would it-
amazing.
would it be heresy if I were to say that I want to punch the Queen in the face?
Not at all.
No.
She's got a punchable face.
She's got a punchable. Thank you. Oh my god, she has a punchable face.
the whole royal family does. Every one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Megan hasn't got a punchable face. I like her face.
Yeah, no,
But-
you're right.
but
Megan.
Megan's got
okay. All of the all of the ones, all the descendants of Elizabeth, right? Direct descendants of her, not the
not the
wives
ones
and
who are brought
husbands.
in and wrangled in.
Not
via
the in-laws,
marriage.
not
Yeah.
the in-laws. I'm talking about by blood. They've all got a punchable face. It's a part of their genes. Like there's the royal madness gene, and then there's the punchable face gene.
There's punchable face and like hemophilia and going
Mm-hmm.
crazy. That's like 3 genes there that are just part of the royal
Is
family.
there much documentation on what the Queen does in her spare time? I would
Yeah.
love to know, like the TV shows she watches, if she listens to podcasts. Like,
I don't think she does.
Is she a fan of things that aren't like have to be royal?
Yeah. She's a motor mechanic. So,
What?
Yeah. Oh, you don't know about? Okay, so during World War II, right? Basically, okay, so the royal family, since the royal family started in fucking 1066, right, have always been like part of ruling is you lead from the front. Right, if you're telling the army to go out there and fuck up the French, you're on the front lines with them, going choppy, right? That's always been a thing in the royal family. So World War II rolls around, right? Like Britain's back is against the wall, right? Like shit's going to hit the fan. Of course, right? Elizabeth, who was Princess Elizabeth at the time, right, was chomping at the bit to get in there and fuck up some Nazis. Like she's true blue. Right, but of course, at the same time, right, literally everybody else in the British government was like, but it's 1930 and we don't think women are that it in a bit, but we need everybody we can, and so that's where the royal, the auxiliary, women's auxiliary and stuff was started, right? But they're like, but we can't send the Queen out, we can't send the princess out because like, holy shit, if she died, that'd be so bad, right? And they had it all timed out. That they were pretty by the time she was like of age, right? It was towards the end of the war. And at this point, the generals and everybody was pretty confident that like, yeah, you know what? We could probably get around this. And so what they did was they put her in as train as a motor mechanic. So she would have had a frontline job as a combat motor mechanic.
Combat motor mechanic.
Basically, if a tank broke down in the field, she was trained to go in and fix it. Or if a Jeep broke down and there's like mortars flying around you and shit, she can pull apart an engine, put it back together while bullets are whizzing around.
So she's like this is like, I'm going to illustrate my stupidity. She is the longest reigning monarch.
She is. She's
In history, across the entire history, she is the longest.
She is the longest reigning.
She is,
monarch.
I reckon she's one of the most underrated like humans of all time. Like in terms of just how interesting her life is. And
That's
the things
why.
that she's got to see.
No,
like,
I
They made a
feel
whole
like
TV show
yeah,
about
The
it.
Crown.
Multiple.
no, but I mean, like when we think of like humans across time,
Yeah.
right, and the ones that they get brought up into conversation of like how
Yeah.
interesting of a person and like how interesting their story is. Like we always come to like, aside from bringing up serial killers and dictators, which hard to negate
Teddy
around.
Roosevelt.
Yeah, like
Teddy Roosevelt's a fucking interesting man.
Dude, that dude's a fucking
That-
liar.
when
I
it's
love
all
him.
said and done with the Queen, will
Yeah.
she not have one of the most interesting lives ever?
Yeah, absolutely
Like,
she will.
Absolutely.
The problem is the reason why is she's still alive. Like usually when
Exactly,
we talk
it's
about
hard
people-
to look at it now.
Exactly.
Like,
You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to wait until she's come and gone. Then people will talk
if
about
you
her
had
more.
to put a time frame on it.
Honestly, I'd say probably I reckon she'll see 100.
Dude,
reckon.
I agree.
I had a running bet that she wouldn't make it to the 2020s.
I remember that.
To the 2020s. Now, we got about 4 months left in the year.
Yeah, no, she's gonna make it.
She's going to make it to 2020.
Yeah.
Now, that's a fucking absolute play from her part.
She absolutely will. No, she's gonna make it to 100, and she's gonna get a letter from herself. Right, that's what she's gonna. Right.
See,
Dear Elizabeth, congratulations to making it to 100. Sincerely, Elizabeth.
See,
Ridley.
as
Yes,
a-
you bad bitch. Yes.
Yes, you bad bitch.
Go for 200.
as our resident British person, I really
Do you love the Queen?
see.
Do you love the royal
Interesting
family?
question. No, but I would want to fuck the Queen like every other British person ever to exist.
Hey, dude, I'm Scottish, and like her ancestors slaughtered my ancestors. I'd still give it to the Queen.
You still want to fuck the
Oh,
Queen?
I would 100% give it to the Queen. I would give it to the Queen now.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
see,
saying.
but
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I really, as
In the words of Ali G, me is so humble to have your face so close to my cock.
oh my god, I
That's
love
Ali
that.
G.
Yes,
And well, there's the name of the episode. No, but I would 100% throw one. I wouldn't even be throwing one to the Queen. She'd be throwing one to me. Like, my God, that's on the bucket
Fuck
list.
no, you're throwing it to her.
you're throwing it to her.
Absolutely.
100%.
I reckon she'd be rowdy.
She is the sovereign. You're not. It's not the other way around, mate. What do you got? Oh, you got a few bickies in a company. She's got a fucking empire, right? Like,
Do you reckon this is like what's always like I would love to obviously experience eventually in about 40 years, but that old person sex drive, do you reckon she's still got it? Like she's just like roaring as way she
I
was
don't
in her
think
30s.
I don't think she ever did, to be honest.
You don't think she
No.
was like she'll click her fingers and just go
Nah.
yes.
Nah.
Nah. Nah. She was always pretty like prim and proper and uptight. Like that's how she was raised.
Oh, but you know the old saying, it's always the innocent ones.
Yeah, that's true.
It's always
that's true.
the innocent ones.
Yeah,
So
Don't look at me.
I didn't look at you. All right, I gave you a glance.
yeah, but at the same time, her sister was an absolute party gal.
I was going to
so,
say,
like,
yeah,
so then she-
Margaret
Yeah,
is the one
Margaret
with the
was
old
like
person sex
the-
drive.
yeah.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Then she's seen it, and that's why like it's bred into her innocence. The veil behind that, she's a freak. I bet she's a freak, 100%.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Shout out to the Queen if you're listening.
Oh, absolutely. I love you, Lizzie. Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
oh no, brilliant monarch. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. If you ever want to jump on the podcast, just hit me up, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I would love to know what her just like guilty pleasures are, because that's always the big thing with
yeah.
high up there, notorietable people.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know what like I don't want to know what they do in terms of where they are in their
mean,
day.
she-
But on their spare time,
Yeah.
do you listen to podcasts?
No.
If you do, like, I'd love to know someone like our company here, right?
Yeah.
We're not that big just yet, yeah.
But
I'd love to know who of our listeners is the biggest one out there. Like,
Yeah.
there's someone like maybe we've tagged Tom Holland in one of our Insta posts, and he's just gone, yeah, know what? Fuck yeah, I'll give him a slight listen, and then just in his own circle of friends, he's just like, so I was listening to this fucking podcast from Australia, boys. Like, these kids are rowdy.
I mean,
Get amongst it. Like,
I don't know. I think that he might be upset because I didn't want to have intercourse with him. So
oh, God forbid, dude.
You know, I don't know.
Oh, John C didn't want to have intercourse with me.
I know.
hate this podcast.
It completely ruins it for him. Yeah. No, but she's got other interests. Like she reads a lot. She's a big book reader.
Yeah, no, I would imagine.
And
her
she
to be a reader.
so for a long time before she got like too old to do it, and also this is like before like the paparazzi were a thing. Really, she used to sneak out of Buckingham Palace all the time and just go down the park and just chat with the other old ladies. Like she'd just hang out at the park, feed the ducks, and just do like classic old lady shit.
That's
like,
the classic British
That's what I'm saying.
time waster.
That's
She used to
So
do it.
British.
She used to go down the park and just have a chat with the other old ladies. Just be like, oh, g'day, Mags, how are you? Okay, Lizzie, how are you? Yeah, how's the ducks going today? Oh, they're great. Yeah, how's the grandkids? Yeah, they're good. Like that's what she used to do. And then like the paparazzi became like more of a thing, and like they would follow people around and shit. She couldn't do that anymore. But if she could, she would totally do that and read. I know she's a big reader. She reads a lot of books, but she's like politics is her jam. Right? Like, there isn't a person alive who knows more about global politics than she does.
Oh, well, she's lived through literally almost every single
That's
one.
what I mean.
Like,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, she she knows the intricacies of, like most countries' politics. Right? It's not just England and the former empire. Like, she knows about America, Canada, situations in Sudan and the Middle East. She's on top of all of it.
do you reckon she knows what's happening in Area 51?
100%.
I reckon
If
she
anyone
does.
knows, it's the Queen.
Yeah, if
Oh,
anyone
it's the
does,
Queen.
it's
Straight
her.
up.
Yeah.
Do you reckon she knows everything?
Oh, no
Like,
one
that's
person.
her hobby. Gossip.
Yeah. No
Where
one.
It's like ear to the ground. Like, oh, so you hear Obama the other week? Like, but not like our kind of gossip where it's just shitty around Docklands around Melbourne, but like the gossip of like the uppers, like their area to the ground there.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if anybody's seen Trump's P tape, she has for sure. Right? Because I bet Trump probably showed it to her. Just saying, hey, Liz, get around this. Right? Ooh, all right.
Would the Queen be among your list of like, so you're hosting a dinner party?
Yep.
And you had to invite 4 guests throughout the history of time.
Yeah.
Is the Queen one of them?
No.
Ooh.
No.
Because having seen The Crown, honestly, I used to like love the Queen. Right? I was a big fan of the Queen.
We're raised that way.
Right? Yeah, because
we're a part of the fucking
part of the
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
right?
I was raised in the UK, and even then, I'm still like, the Queen.
Yeah, but I've always been that way as well. I've always been like, I know the Queen is like technically like our head of government, right? In terms of like the fact that we're a Commonwealth, but like really,
she doesn't do anything.
No. She's our head of state, like straight up. She's the Queen of Australia.
No, I know,
right?
Yeah.
But like, no, for me, I started watching The Crown, and like it filled me in on a lot of like, you know, kind of her day-to-day stuff, and I was like, actually, she's kind of a bitch. Like, I wasn't a fan of the way she did. I feel like she did Margaret dirty. I was like, she just wants to get married, and like everything's all G. He's divorced his missus, and they want to get married. Oh, but he's a divorcee. Can't have that, right? It's like, okay, but she's just going to be Princess Margaret for the rest of her days because you are the same age. Like, it's not a big deal, right? You know, and that's what I'm saying. And she was like, no, you can't marry him, and then she buggered off and had to you know, renounce her title and everything. And I was like, well, that's kind of a shitty thing. Like, that's a, you know, you dog the boys.
Have you heard of what procedure they have in place when the Queen does pass?
No, I mean, yeah, they've got a procedure. I don't know.
No, but have you
details.
heard? Like,
it's intense,
intricate, and intense.
Well, yeah, they've had fucking 3 decades to prepare.
Oh yeah, they've well and truly got prepared. No, apparently,
not to mention she's not the first queen to have ever died ever. Like,
no, but
they've had this shit figured out for a few centuries.
So she hasn't even passed yet, and it's already deemed as the most expensive funeral of all time.
Yeah, probably.
It comes in at like $2 billion.
Yeah, I imagine.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, because like the procedure is there's like in all of the radio stations across England or UK, there is like a red buzzer or some shit.
Yep.
That does not get activated. And when it is activated, that is the royal family signaling the Queen has passed.
Yep.
Right? So that is the first piece of information that goes out from the Buckingham Palace, goes to the radio stations. Red beam goes off in the corner and goes, fuck. And then they all have like these scripts and shit that are in place to announce the passing of. Mm-hmm. And then for like 2 weeks, everything is locked down.
Yep.
Right, because then you obviously have to go into the procedure of naming the next monarch, yada, yada, yada. And then it's the funeral progression because they have to change the currency as well.
Yeah.
Everything with the Queen's face on it has to be changed to the next monarch. That's where like this whole $2 billion...
See, that's when I think that the monarch shouldn't be on the coin.
Exactly. And especially like we've taken it for granted because the Queen has lived so long where it's not been a problem
like
that we've had to worry about.
In the UK, they've recently released a 50 pence with Paddington Bear on it.
Oh, brilliant.
Now, I fucking love Paddington Bear. I think he should be on everything. Because that means he will never die because he's a fictional character.
Yeah. And it's synonymous, really, with your fucking people.
So change all the currency in every single country just to be something of a cultural significance to that particular country, because that will never change.
Well, because it's become, she's lived so long, that's why it's become such a big problem, because they've always minted new currency with her face on it. So there's so much currency out there.
I don't want to have a coin with another face on it. I just ruin the coin.
It depends on the face, though.
By the way, they don't have to withdraw all the coins. It's not like it becomes illegal to own a coin with Elizabeth's face on it.
No, but the idea being any business has to withdraw their stash in order to get their new stash in.
Yeah, but that's like, but again, that takes place over months. Like, it's not going to happen very quickly.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's like how much procedure has to go in.
But then it has to go over across like different countries as well.
Yeah,
so we'd have to
we have to do it. All of UK has to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
$2 billion just for the passing of the Queen, and it's going to take weeks.
Yeah.
Nuts, man.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
I wish I could kick up that much fuss when I pass.
Yeah, well, that's a whole thing. It's going to be a while. Jeez.
Viking funeral.
Is that how you
Ideal Viking funeral, how I go.
Okay.
Yeah, if I had to choose.
So you run the self-sacrifice maneuver
So,
and
okay,
then
yeah.
have a Viking funeral.
So obviously the way I die isn't a self-sacrifice in the eventual zombie apocalypse, right? So then after X person has gotten away, I like to believe they also have a copy of my final will and testament, which I obviously have printed out because I'm not an idiot in the fucking Armageddon proceeding. So they'll read that, realize I've left everything to them, and then half of what I've allocated has to go into the Viking funeral. So I'm talking like proper made boat. I'm talking, you got to hire some professional archers, those that are still left within the apocalypse, right? You're going to push me out down the Nile? No. Wait, do I want the Nile? What is the greatest river of all time?
the Amazon.
Buddy.
The Amazon? Push me down the... No, not the Yarra. We're making it out of Australia when the apocalypse
Yeah,
comes.
but it's
all right.
okay.
All right. we make it that far into the
The
apocalypse.
Amazon is the biggest river on the world.
Okay, so you're pushing me down the Amazon, right? We got the archers across both beds, right? And they're just taking pot shots at me. And whoever lights me on fire gets the rest of my stash. Viking funeral.
Okay.
Fair.
Cool.
I like it.
Yep. Guarantee you that's never going to happen during the apocalypse.
Or my backup is I'm going to host in my will a...
Because
This
you
is
know what's
scavenger hunt.
you know-
Yeah, have I told you this? So my will is written to host a scavenger hunt. So the world, like, what's not Amazing Race? There's a fucking show that, a movie, well long ago. But the idea being, I'm going to leave all of my assets in a trust, and then that trust is going to host a scavenger hunt worldwide to find, like, and everyone can be a part of it, right? But the idea being, who or she who finds it then that's theirs, right?
okay.
I rate this.
I was going to say,
gimmick.
during an apocalypse, this is what's actually going to happen. You're going to die, and then either we'll eat you or we'll sell you as food to someone else.
God, what kind of apocalypse society are you thinking exists?
Mad Max. Because it's
Fair.
Australia, mate. So
Yeah,
yeah,
fair.
either
Oh my
either
God,
either-
true. We
either
would
I'll
be
cook
fucking
you-
a Mad
Either
Max.
I'll cook you and eat you, right? I'll be sad while I do it, but like I'll do you right. You know, I'll get a nice marinade going, right? We'll get
What would you
on the-
base me in?
Ooh,
I reckon it's got to be like
it's got to
honey
be whatever
soy.
we can find. You
Like
know?
honey soy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like honey,
Honey
soy.
soy's
Like
a
yeah,
good
I
one.
definitely do.
Honey soy is the crowd pleaser of marinades. I
It
think
is. It absolutely is. But that's
Oh, so it's the David of marinades.
yeah, absolutely.
Fitting.
You know, or we'd sell you off. You know, for parts, right? Part you out. You know,
No, I'd
who wants
actually
an arm,
rather
who
you eat
wants a
me.
leg?
Honestly, yeah. Eat me.
No, it just
Use
depends.
my muscle and my fibers in my body to support
Well, that's
your
me.
own.
Yeah, we'd either do you like the Fremen in June, or we'd sell you for parts.
How would you
know?
cook me? I'm talking like spit, I reckon.
No,
Yeah,
that's
you spit me
gross.
out.
No. Throw you on the Barbie, mate.
that is a spit.
Have some fucking respect for me. At least chuck me on a spit.
No, dude, because that's fucking effort.
Apple in my mouth,
No,
and I just twirl.
No. Cut your head off first and get all the muscles out. Do it properly.
Gotta properly
know what?
prepare the corpse.
We're not doing suckling pig, mate. We'll just do a Barbie. You know, just because effort, right? You want to minimize.
Would you at least serve me with a salad?
if we could find one? Yeah, sure.
Oh, it's the apocalypse. Do you think greens are going to die out first?
According to Mad Max, they did. So
That's what
I
Mad
don't know.
Max tells me.
Yeah.
The most accurate report of the apocalypse.
Absolutely. That's what I'm basing it off of.
George Miller got it right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he fucking nailed it. By the way, I should also probably bring up why I sound a bit different today. Like how far into halfway through.
Captain Cold over here.
I've got a head cold, right? At the moment. And
It's
so
really you having a head cold really enunciates your Australian twang.
it does a bit.
I rate the gimmick
Yeah.
of you having a cold. You should have it all cold all the time.
Yeah. Well, but that's because my nose is all blocked up and like usually you kind of talk through your nose.
Yeah.
So it enunciates that a bit more. It's a bit unusual. It's different, right? It's very much more Kath and Kim. But I want to put Strepsils on blast for a minute.
On
'Cause
blast! You're putting them over just before the
That's
show.
what I'm yeah, but
No,
this is
no,
why.
no,
Let me explain. I love Strepsils. I do. That's like my go-to for head colds, right? Is like I mean, I could go and buy like actual cold and flu medicine, but like I've got a pretty good immune system, and all cold and flu medicine does is it brings everything forward one day, and that's it. And it's sort of like for the amount of money you spend, I'm like, I don't want to do it for a
I'm
day.
prepared to pay
I
that
can
money
tough
to
it
get
out
it for a day.
Exactly, I can tough it
I
out for a day. Oh, you can't? I can.
Nah,
I
I have the world's worst immune system.
Yeah.
It is a hot pile of garbage.
No, mine's pretty good. So
Please
like,
continue. Sorry.
so like, yeah, I can put up with it for a day in exchange for saving a few bucks. And Strepsils really does it for me. Like if I get what I get is a sore throat and like a blocked nose, and the Strepsils sorts me out. And so I get the ones.
Strepsils spawn. Come
Yeah.
at us.
Yeah. So they're not going to like me in a minute. So like I get the one with the antiseptic numbing stuff, so it numbs my sore throat and it helps clear up my nose, which is good. And then I take it as recommended every 2 hours.
Every 2 hours?
Yeah, dude. Every 2 hours.
I do it every like 4 hours.
That's a fucking commitment just to fight a cold.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. It keeps you good all day. If you do it, but you can't do
Why
it.
don't you just grab Codral? It's only every 6 hours.
Because it wears off after 2.
No, it doesn't.
For me, it wears off after 2 hours.
I'm small, so medication takes longer to get out of my system.
Yeah, probably.
So
Anyway, please go on.
Anyway, so...
Don't let me derail your story.
yeah.
again.
Again.
I mean, what?
But so here's the thing though, right? The thing with strepsils though, especially the one I've been getting, it has a lot of sugar in it. And I've been trying to cut sugar out of my diet. Now, they do offer a sugar-free strepsil, but it costs twice as much as any other brand of strepsil.
Which is stupid.
It's stupid. It's like you're charging me twice as much money for less ingredients at this
For something
point.
that surely wouldn't even be even half as desirable.
Yeah.
Because if I'm chewing and sucking on a strepsil,
Yeah.
I want to have that sweetening
That's
agent.
it. You
to
want a
it.
little bit. You want a little.
Like
bit
I
of
got to
sweetness.
enjoy the fact that I have to do this. So you're telling me they've taken the sweetness out and then slapped on half more.
No, it's still... I think it's because when you have something that's sugar-free, they take the pure sugar out, but they replace it with like stevia, which is more expensive to produce, which is why it's more expensive.
That's probably what's going on.
It's like
Is
that with...
But
It's
by
like
adding
that.
stevia to it, you're still making it sugary.
Yeah, but...
Oh, okay. So it still maintains the taste, is what you're saying, but it labels itself as sugarless.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
Dare
okay.
iced coffee does like sugar-free coffee, which like iced coffee, which one I always get.
Yeah.
But it's always like $2 more than the normal one. And I'll pay that because I'm like, it's fine, but it's because they have stevia stuff in it, which is more expensive to make.
Yeah, fair actually.
So, like, you know, and that's for me. It's sort of like I would like to get the sugar-free strepsil. That'd be good because then I could maintain my, you know, like trying to cut sugar out of my. This is my year of getting my shit together, and I like that idea. But at the same time, it's like you're sick and you need medicine, and if medicine's got sugar in it, fuck it. Like, it's medicine. You know, you just do it. You just put up with it.
Is this the first time you've been sick this year?
Yeah.
Dude, it's been a solid year for you, bro.
Yeah.
You've been on top of it, man. I respect this.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's good. But here's the interesting thing. This is the real test: is how long I'm going to be sick for. Because what usually happens is I'll get a head cold and it moves into my chest, right? And then I become very chesty for like a month afterwards. But that was back when I was a smoker. Now I'm not a smoker anymore. So it's starting to move into my chest a little bit, but it's like a little bit. Honestly, I've coughed like 4 times today, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right. And even then, it's not even like it's like a tickle in the back of the throat. It's not in my lungs. I can't feel it in my lungs. So it'll be interesting to see how long it takes for me to recover.
Low key, had you not mentioned just then that you used to be a smoker, I had actually forgotten.
Yeah.
I had
It's been
actually
that long.
forgotten that
Yeah.
you used to smoke.
I'm just gonna take him over to put John over for a sec.
Yeah, like no, because it's never easy to quit smoking. Like
No,
it's
absolutely
so
not.
like it's got to be one of those vices where you hear about it all the time. Like it's
Yeah.
genuinely difficult,
Yeah.
and you fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
like
You're doing so well.
absolutely.
I'm so proud of
You've
you.
had one very minor relapse too. I think I wouldn't even
I did.
call it a major
I only had
relapse.
2. Yeah. I got during the infamous episode 6 incident. I had 2 cigarettes. And that was it. I haven't had any. I didn't have before then. I hadn't had a cigarettes for like 5 months, and I haven't had one since.
Yeah, dude.
So-
Like, how are you feeling about it? Like,
Yeah, I feel pretty.
let's
good.
just get real on this episode because that is it's such
So-
a fucking
so
achievement.
good.
Yeah,
So good. I'm so proud of you.
I feel pretty good about it. Like, I feel healthier. I know it's funny. Like, he's sick and he says he feels healthier. I'm not even kidding though. Even though I've got a head cold, and head colds suck no matter what. Like, it just sucks. But it doesn't suck as much as it used to, right? Because head colds are head colds are head colds. Honestly, right? They're all pretty much the fucking same. And yeah, like this one, it sucks less, despite the fact that it still sucks. Like in the brand of suckiness, it's not as bad, right? Like I've been taking the strepsils, right, and then I take a Panadol before I go to bed, and that's it. Like that's all I've needed to do, and I've been pretty good. I even did exercise yesterday, and I was at my worst yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. But that being said, though, right, I was actually going to message you about it, Dave, but like you were busy, so I just Googled it instead. Apparently, if you've got like a head cold or something, right, doing a bit of exercise can be good for you.
Sweat it out.
No, not sweating it out.
No.
It's just you do light to moderate exercise, right? A little bit of exercise is apparently good for you because it opens up the blood vessels, right? And it helps everything move around.
Well, I also believe in that sweating it. Like have you never heard that? Like so you got a cold or the flu.
You go and you sweat
the
it
idea
out.
being you go to the sauna and you want
Yeah.
to sweat it out.
Yeah.
Right. Get out all those toxins. No, I firmly believe in that.
I mean,
and exercise is a byproduct.
The
of it.
science behind that isn't that you sweat it out. The science behind that is you basically give yourself a fever, right? And
Yeah.
and what that does is it burns out the bacteria or the germ that's inside you that's making you sick. That's why you get a fever in the first place. That's your body trying to burn out the sickness.
Oh.
Biology 101.
Yeah, but
Oh my God.
but it's actually a bit of a double-edged sword. So the increase in body temperature makes the virus and all the bacteria reproduce faster because it's a more ideal environment, but they also die faster. So basically, it just speeds up the sickness, is what it does. Is instead of it lasting 2 days, it can last like a day and a half.
Yeah, but you'll get the full sickness cycle within that.
You
day
will.
and a half.
You'll still get
Yeah.
you'll still go through the full cycle. It just goes through it quicker.
I like
Yeah.
we can use this platform to teach people things.
Yeah. So I wasn't doing the exercise for that reason. Apparently, it's just because it opens up blood vessels, and that's better for for everything. Apparently, that's just good. So I went for a walk yesterday, and I would not have done that last year. Would not have happened.
Now, are you tracking this?
The walks?
Like, no. What I mean is, like, are you tracking this like year of change progress? Like, have you taken a before and after shot? Like, are you doing like that?
No.
Yeah.
I've just been doing it. I'm just in the moment kind of a thing. That being said, though, I mean, I've noticed a few things. So like, a little while ago, right? I was at the train station, and I was at Malvern train station. So for those of you who don't know, Malvern train station, it's got like you've got the platforms, but in order to get onto the train platforms,
Fuck off, huge ramps.
there's these big ramps, right?
Yeah,
now the
they
ramps are
suck.
about so they're about 30 meters long.
I agree.
Ish?
Yeah, about ish.
About 30 meters, right?
They suck.
And it's up. What would you say the incline is? What, 15 degrees?
15, 20, yeah.
About that, yeah. Right? Bit of a walk. So I was at the bottom of one of those ramps waiting for a train. And this is late at night, so they're like, okay, wait on this platform for your train. I'm like, okay. So I'm standing around just like chilling out, whatever. And then I see at the other platform, my train start to pull in, right? So I see it just like the front of the train is at the end of the platform just coming in. And I'm like, shit. And that's my train. I go, shit. And I run up the ramp, run across and run down the other ramp and tap on. And by the time I've done all of that, the train's pulled in and the doors have been open for like, they usually open for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
They've been open for about 15 seconds at this point. So I'm not even running into the train as the doors are closing. Like I walked onto the train at that point. But that's after running up a ramp.
Considering that a Malvern station, even I would struggle with that.
That's what I'm saying. Like I ran up a 30-meter ramp and down a 30-meter ramp and across, 10, 15 meters, right? And I did all of that run, no problem. I ran it. I got inside. I sat down. I was puffed. But I recovered in about 60 seconds.
There must be something in the beer that we're drinking that has made this year a year of change for us.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
it's instinctively, and I was talking to Locke about it a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not one of us, because it's been a year of change for me, Locke, even Ricky, and you as well.
Yeah.
Where it's been like, without even saying to one another that we're in the midst of doing things differently in order to become healthier or more active or something like that. We've all done it, and we've all done it in the exact same time frame.
Yeah.
Like, with Locke and I, it's very obvious. We've made notable physical changes.
Yeah.
You as well have made notable physical changes. Ricky as well. Like, he's more attentive to his, looks. He's tried to quit smoking on and off as well. Like, there's something in the fucking water, it
Hey,
seems.
I've been doing stuff too.
And
She
JJ
has-
got a haircut.
She's been deadlifting.
I've been seeing a PT for the first time in like
yeah, we haven't been
8
seeing
years.
me. That hurts.
I'm actually feeling great.
Yeah.
No, but
For the first time in like years.
And you're, as well as part of this conversation, it's something must be something in the beer that we have
It
all
must be
drunk
something.
at the Hawker, where it's just hit us and just gone, what the fuck? Like, pull your shit in. Well, not
Yeah.
pull your shit in, because I think we were fine beforehand, but it's like, nah, this is your time.
You were fine. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't fine. That's what I mean. This is the year of getting my shit together. Is what I call it.
It's been a brilliant year.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. And I would not have been able to do that ramp story. Would not have been able to do that last year. Guaranteed. Wouldn't have been able to do that 8 months ago. Right. That's what I'm saying. That's how I know I've made progress. Is that I was able to do that without any issue. right? Never would have been able to do that. And so even though like I'm still a huge unit, like underneath all of this, there are changes going on.
Drastically.
There
too.
is a
Yeah.
metamorphosis
The
happening.
minute you said I'm not doing smoking anymore,
Yeah.
your body went through its biggest change.
That's
right
what I
there.
mean. Yeah. But like, and
Do you remember that moment where it was just like something in your head just clicked and it was like, that's it?
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, because I'd been leading up to it for a few days. So with with the way I quit smoking, my regimen, I went to my doctor and my doctor gave me medication and stuff. And by the way, if you're going to quit, go and talk to your doctor first about no matter, because the way I did it is the way that worked for me, but it might not work for you. Like if you're a smoker, go and see your doctor and just let them figure it out, right? Because they'll know what's best for you.
Yeah, a lot of the people I've spoken to believe in cold turkey. I personally could not do it. I haven't smoked, but like I'm just imagining just me as a person, cold turkey just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, no, cold turkey.
I need procedure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Same.
Cold turkey doesn't work for me either. And that's what I mean. So the way I did it, it worked for me. It might not work for you. But basically, like I'd gone down to about, I think 2 cigarettes a day I'd gotten to, right? So I was having one in the morning.
Is this what, before the doctor?
No, after the doctor.
Oh, okay.
This is like once
But
I started the regimen.
I remember you telling me about this when you first got the medication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I cut down and cut down and cut down. Eventually I was on 2 cigarettes a day. And this is from like 30 plus cigarettes a day, right? I was a pack a day smoker.
Yeah.
Right. And I got down to about 2, right? And then I had one in the morning. And then like in the evening, I was like, do I really want a cigarette? I was like, not really, but like, yeah, kind of, but nah. Like I could do without, but and I just went, oh fuck it, I'll just have one anyway, and I just had one, and then I went to bed, woke up the next morning, and I didn't feel like one. It was literally that. I woke up the next morning, and I just went, I don't want a cigarette, like I'm good, and then that was it, and that was in mid-March that happened. So yeah, that was kind of the day, I suppose. But I've been building up to it, like I said, for at least a week up beforehand. I knew I was getting close. Yeah.
But what I meant, like that decision to like go to the doctor.
Oh, the decision to go to the doctor?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I've been building up to that for... Okay, so the reason why I decided to quit smoking, a lot of people say, oh, it's because of the cost, because it's so expensive and so... That made no difference to me. I was going to tough it out with the cost, even though it was fucking
you'd spend so long adjusting for that cost anyway.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people who do say that, like...
But also, like, the people who say, the cost makes a difference, it's a shitty argument. It's a tax against the poor, right? When you're an addict... It doesn't matter how much something costs. You find the money and you do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, right? What do you think like heroin dealers and coke dealers make so much fucking money?
Yeah.
Right? That's the evil of the drug business, right? It doesn't matter. You find the money however you do, right? Even if that means going without food or something. So it wasn't the cost that did it for me. What did it for me was it was a realization that I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to be with other people. I didn't want to I hated going to uni because you can't smoke at university. Hated being on the train because you can't smoke on the train. Hated going out and hanging out with my friends because I couldn't smoke, right? And the only place where I could smoke was sitting in my room in front of my television watching TV. Didn't even play video games anymore because you can't smoke while playing video games because your hands are busy, playing the game. So I stopped playing video games and all that. And all I was doing was watching, shitty YouTube videos and just chain smoking, right? And that was all I wanted to do because I hated doing literally everything else because I couldn't smoke. And I went, this is not a way to live. Like, you can't live like this, right? The end of the road's pretty close if this is how you live. And that's when I realized that, like, the way I describe it is I had a demon inside me. And that was my demon, was this cigarette. So, like, basically, everybody else lives their lives, right? And you've always got 1,000 thoughts on, like, even right now, I'm telling you this story, but I'm also checking the audio levels on the podcast. I'm thinking about how lovely it is outside because it's really gotten nice and sunny out
literally
there.
in the last 15 minutes.
Literally in the last,
fucking good.
right? Yeah,
Thanks,
you know what I mean?
Melbourne.
I'm focusing on talking to you. Like, I've got all these all these things I'm thinking about all at the same time, but my demon only has one thought, and that's satisfying the addiction. That's it. That's all it has to do. It doesn't have to do anything else, right? And that's what I realized is I had this demon. And so I went, I got to do something. I got to call a doctor and, like, get a doctor on this. And it took me 2 weeks to work up the energy to do that, right? It was like the demon was keeping me from doing that because that would mean you couldn't smoke. And again, this demon is as intelligent as I am because the demon is me and it is inside me, right? So this is like a battle against someone is equally as intelligent as you are, but they've only got one goal, right? And you've got to do like 1,000 other things. So yeah, it took me like 2 weeks to call the doctor and then make the appointment and everything. And even then, on the day, fuck, it was tough getting there, I'll tell you. It was a hard thing to do. I took an Uber, right? I made it as easy for myself as possible. Even though the doctor is literally around the corner from my house. It is a 5-minute walk. I took an Uber that 5 minutes. I made it as easy on myself as possible to get there, right, intentionally. And then the doctor gave me the prescription for some medication. Took an Uber to the pharmacist, even though the pharmacist was literally like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Did all of it. Just like made it as easy as myself as possible. I went to McDonald's that day too, right? I just went, I'm just going to eat like shit today. I'm going to eat whatever I want. You know what I mean? Like, again, everything to make it as easy as possible. And yeah, that's how I did it. That's how I started.
Fuck, I respect that.
I respect that so much.
Yeah.
Pint Party can get real.
Oh, yeah, absolutely can.
We're allowed to be real.
Yeah. And that was kind of the day when I decided to quit. Like, basically by mid-March when I went to 0, I went, what else can I do? I went, I'm going to start walking more. And then I went, let's try cutting. Like, I wanted to clear up my diet, you know, because I'm a bit of a junk food nut. But I went, I can't do the cold. Again, we talked about it, can't do cold turkey. So I'm cutting down on sugar. The only sugar I have is in my morning coffee, and that's it. Like, I try and avoid sugar as much as possible. That and the strepsils now. That's it, as much as I do. And that's why I try and avoid lollies. But shit, if I go to a party and there's fucking like
Lollies for
there's
days,
lollies
you're
on
like,
the table,
yes.
that's it, man. It's like that's like a junkie going around. There's a big bowl of heroin on the
Like,
table.
oh,
It's
lollies.
That's, wow, okay. I guess I'm just that's my life for the evening. That's me for the evening. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Just you saying lollies got me thinking about a fucking...
What?
I was at a 21st not too long ago, and like gimmick, like the spread that you put out for a 21st is so personal. Like,
Oh,
I've
yeah,
never
yeah. I had
noticed-
that for my
Dead set.
21st.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like they're always the same, but always not the same at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone they always go chips and dips, right? But it's the choices of chips, the choices of dips are always different. This one, I had never seen it before. Have you ever gone to a 21st and instead of there being a normal savory spread, which
Yeah.
I think is the optimal go-to, right?
Yeah.
This one had a sugar bar.
A sugar bar.
Sugar
Oh
bar.
my God, no.
The spread was just lollies.
Okay.
I walked in and I'm expecting chip and dip because just given who I am as a person,
Yeah.
I would have gone to the chip
You're-
and dip.
you're
and then
a chip and
started,
dip man.
Yeah, I would have gone there and then started conversation about the chips and dip.
Yeah.
Right, because that's my lead in. So that's like, okay, if I want to make friends at this party, hang around the chips and dip and then just annoy people with my chip and dip question. Classic David. I go there, I'm like, wait a minute, where the fuck is the chip and dip? Oh, there's literally this whole fucking like beer pong spread table and it's just lollies. Like just lollies. I have never seen that before. Like savory is a safe option, but if you've got the balls to go sweets,
I
like
admire
you're
that
either
person.
about to host the greatest 21st of all time, or you're really about to miss.
Yeah, that's
Now
wow.
this hit though, because fuck was I did not expect the sweets bar, but it's so like there's the psychology to it and the science behind it. Back it up. You're dancing and partying throughout the night. And obviously, alcohol is one way of getting in your energy.
Yeah.
But if you have sweets to accompany it, it just supports the alcohol.
Well, yeah, because you're on a sugar rush at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just get a sugar high going and you party all night. Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. Yeah, I'm like
sugar, like, dude, it was a sugar spread. Like, there
Far
was
out.
not a chip or cracker in sight. Like,
Wow.
there were some throughout the house, right? But, like, there's a spot in a designated house party where it's like, this is the food spread table.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was what it was. It was just lollies and sugar.
wow, yeah, because I like to do 50-50 is how I like to do it. So I have the chips and dip, and right next to it I've got a bowl of lollies as well.
Yeah.
Now I go for the party mix, right? I like to have a little variety in my lollies.
Yeah.
Right. Even though personally I'm all about, for me it's mint teeth, right? And strawberries and cream lollies. That's it. You give me
Those are your lollies.
Tho-
Do you fuck with a pair of snakes?
That is my crack cocaine. No, I like a bag of snakes. I'll demolish any set of lollies, right? But like, if you like when I go to hell and the demon and the devil says to me, "So you like lollies? Do you have all the lollies in the world?" Like he says to Homer Simpson.
We were fucking feeding him
It'll be mint,
donuts.
it'll be mint teeth and strawberries and cream that the devil feeds. That'll be the two. Right, and I'll fucking do it. I'll eat all the strawberries and cream in the world, right, and make that fucker go insane. I will do it. Yeah.
Is that your, like, can't just have one, like, vice?
No, I'll tell you a story about it. So my dad brings home a bag of lollies, and I didn't know what it was. I just saw a bag of lollies on the table. And I peeked inside and I see strawberries and cream. And I go, oh, yeah, because I'm trying to cut sugar. But I went, oh, one can't hurt. Come on, mate. You've been a good boy, right? I've been at it for, several months at this point. I went, oh, I'll have the one. And I pick up the one and I pop it in my mouth, no big deal. And then I look at the bag and it's all strawberries and cream. It's the whole thing.
Oh, no.
I went, oh, fuck. Holy shit, this is amazing. And then I sat there, and because it was on the living room table, I was sitting there watching the news, and without even thinking about it, I was just reaching into the bag. I'd eaten half the bag before I realized, no, 3/4 of the bag before I realized what I'd done.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, strawberries and cream, that's my vice. For sure.
Wow.
Would you say that's your go-to munchie as well?
Yeah, no, my go-to munchie when I get the munchies is like potato crisps.
Yeah.
For
Because
sure.
I was having this debate with Locke actually the other day, and like if he comes
Yeah.
on next episode, this will be a fucking brilliant one because he's got a good insight onto the perfect munchie like go-to.
Yeah.
He has a munchie cabinet, by the way, which I fucking respect.
Yo.
But yeah, so like I said, I'm with you. Like my munchie is got to be shapes.
What
Ooh,
flavor of shapes?
Yeah.
Optimally, I would go barbecue, but it's really any shape. I've been actually fucking with there's a new line of shapes they got out with sweet potato.
Really?
Yes.
I rate them.
I rate them.
I rate them so high key.
I love
Well,
them.
And they're the
Potato.
perfect munchie because I'm not actually getting fat on them.
Well, see, okay.
Now that's
cool.
That's what I look for.
I personally, I'm hesitant because the last new shape flavor that I tried was the cheesy bacon one. I don't rate it.
I love
Wasn't
cheesy
a
bacon.
fan.
Now, did you see?
I saw, yeah, the
I put up
pyramid.
a fucking thing on my socials the other day,
Yeah.
and obviously people who haven't followed, they're not going to know. But there was a gimmick that was posted on Facebook,
Yeah.
right, and it was a pyramid tier ranking of the shapes flavors.
Yes.
Now, at the bottom tier, they had the cheese and bacon.
Yeah,
Now, you just
I
said you
agree.
don't like them.
I
Oh,
agree.
I could not
I
disagree
agree. Cheese
more.
and bacon.
No, I
is
think I
at the
should have
bottom
been
of
at
the
least
tier.
on the second tier. It's not top tier flavor.
What
but
was
at
top
least-
tier on that? I think it was
It'd be pizza flavor.
No, it was fucking chicken crimpy. Chicken crimpy
What
is
the
the
fuck?
most overrated shape flavor of all time.
What the
I
fuck?
agree.
That is the equivalent of Evian water. Now, don't even get me started on Evian water.
I had words
Evian.
about this.
Evian? Oh, I
Evian.
couldn't. I don't even care
I
enough
had a
to
discussion about
pronounce
this a
their
couple of
name
days
right.
ago,
yeah.
and he got really into it.
Oh, because there was also of the same vein. They also did a tier ranking of bottled waters.
Yeah, right.
And
And the Coles 99 cents liter bottles are the best bottles because they're 99 cents and the water tastes good and it's in a huge ass bottle.
Coles and Woolies brand waters are good.
I disagree. Coles water's good. Woolies water is better because it's 75 cents for the same amount.
I'll respect that. I'll
Okay, yeah,
respect
true,
that.
yeah,
What I'm
actually.
getting at is they had
But then
Voss.
Coles is number 2. I agree.
Yeah, any of those like home brand less than $1
Yeah.
bottles are great.
It's fucking water. Like
Yeah,
what
like-
you're paying for. is
Okay,
the
hold on.
bottle.
Not all water tastes the same. Don't be that guy.
It's two hydrogen atoms and an
Don't be
oxygen
that
atom.
guy that says all water tastes the same. Anyone who drinks water knows that water don't taste the same.
No, it depends on whether it's got fluoride in it or not. And that's about it.
yeah.
All right, no, I respect that. Tap water can go in its own. I firmly believe tap water should have been on that list because tap water, you got that sentimentality value.
Well,
to it.
no,
you
but-
grew up on tap water.
But
How can tap water have a sentimental value?
What do you mean? How can
No, it
tap
can.
water have a sentimental
It can.
value?
No. Okay, it can. Let me explain. So here in Melbourne, right here in Victoria, we have the best tap water in Australia.
In the world,
Arguably in the world, right? There might be somewhere in bloody
maybe Canada.
maybe Canada, maybe fucking Norway's got it better. I don't know, but I know Australia we got it pretty fucking good. Victoria specifically. I went to Adelaide for my mother's boyfriend's niece's wedding, right? I went to Adelaide for it. Went and got some, just felt thirsty, didn't think about it, got a glass, put it under the tap, had a glass of tap water, took a sip. Holy fucking shit, it was trash. It was just trash. It was the worst fucking water. I was there for 12 days. I drank bottled water for 12 days. I
I
even
did that
budgeted,
in America.
right? No, in America.
The tap water in Florida
Yeah.
is fucking rank.
Yeah.
Well, that's the big thing going around in America right now. It's like Michigan as well has like no tap water because like Flint.
Oh, yeah,
Have you
Flint,
not heard of,
yeah,
the Flint saga
yeah,
where it's
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like dirt. Isn't
No,
it?
they got
Essentially.
lead.
Lead
pipes,
is
and the
what it is.
And the
yeah,
lead's
yeah.
leaking into the water.
Like
but
most developing countries, obviously, don't drink from the tap, right?
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
Even
don't
in
you
France,
don't drink
you
from
don't
the tap
drink
in.
from the tap.
really?
Yeah.
We were told not to when we went over there.
In where, sorry?
France.
Oh, wow, really?
Yep.
But they
Okay.
got the River Thames right there, or is that
That's in England.
Oh, is that in England?
It's in London.
And no, don't drink from the River Thames.
They're from the
either.
Thames. Thames is like the Europe's,
Jesus Christ.
the
By the
Europe's
way,
Yarra. It's
This has
disgusting.
just confirmed that when it comes to geography,
France has
don't even ask me about anything.
France has the River Seine.
They got the and isn't the Rhine? No, or is that in Germany?
It's in, I think it's. I
The
don't
Rhine?
know.
No. The Rhine is that in Germany or Austria? No, it's not France at all.
I know
I
this
have no
doesn't
idea.
help my
At
case.
least it's on the European continent.
It's on the European continent.
I'm closer than Dave is.
Well, before I settled in my head, I was going through what am I going to say because I had to think about it. Before I settled on Thames, I was literally going to be like, oh, what? But they got the River Nile right there. Like, I do not know geography.
no, the Thames is notoriously filthy. Do you know why the Thames is clean today at all?
I didn't even know it was clean today.
It's cleaner than it was.
It's
That's
cleaner
the
than
thing.
it was.
It absolutely is. Oh yeah, it doesn't.
100%.
Okay, here's the thing, right? If you go to London today,
I was just thinking
And
London,
stood-
right? Like,
yeah.
surely would have grown
You
up
gotta-
during
you
like,
gotta
the Black
London- if
Plague
you-
era.
yeah, no, but if you
People just shit in the River
people
Thames.
used to just shit and piss in the River Thames. But here's the thing: if you stand in London today, you can't smell the Thames. Even if you stood next to it, you can't smell
Nah.
it. Right?
Can
But
confirm.
150 years ago, the Thames smelled so bad that you could smell it inside the Houses of Parliament. It was that bad, right? People would be sitting in the house. Now, Parliament is along the River Thames, so like it's pretty close to the river. But like it smelt that bad that even inside the building, right? And this is like 150 years ago, so like humans were generally a lot smellier
Yeah.
150 years ago, and like even with the stink of humans, you could still smell
It's
the
like,
Thames.
yeah, and this is proven because I have. You guys know the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes film, right?
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Is that the one with Robert
Yeah.
Downey Jr.?
I highly rate it because I enjoy watching it.
Of the Sherlock Holmes films, it is like third tier.
I've only seen those ones.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
So
Is it the Robert Downey Jr. one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, they're the best ones. Are you
yeah,
kidding me?
I rate
No,
it.
no, they're
So
not. No, they're not.
I have
not by Sherlock Holmes standards.
John, let me have my story.
Sorry.
I have one gripe with that movie, and it's
Yeah.
that the part where Robert Downey Jr. jumps out of the House of Parliament into the River Thames, climbs onto a boat. My one thing is, why did no one complain about how bad he smelled? Because he was jumping into the Thames 150 years ago.
Absolutely. And in fact, John Watson would be like genuinely afraid for his life.
And Jude Law was fine.
yeah.
So I'm like, that's my one
Oh,
complaint.
it's Jude Law.
No, but Jude Law was
Jude
John
Law
Watson.
can play fucking Batman. That man can do anything. He can't do wrong, in my opinion, Jude Law.
No, we're not talking about the acting. We're talking about the character he played.
Oh, fuck me.
About,
my
about
bad.
how Dr. Watson didn't
my
be
bad,
like,
my
oh
bad.
my god, you stink. Why did you jump in the Thames?
Yeah. Also, like,
I agree with that. Hold on, just
did
really
you
quickly.
drink any of the Thames? You might now have
You
a
might
serious
you might
infection.
have cholera and die.
So you just stiffed the Robert Downey Jr.'s edition of Sherlock Holmes. Do you rate it higher than fucking Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly's?
Yes. Okay, so I watched that the other day. Actually, no, I didn't watch all of it. I watched the first 32 minutes of it, and I turned it off.
Specific.
Specifically.
Very
He had to look at the
specifically.
time and go, fuck, I cannot deal with another minute
David,
of this.
No.
you paid to see that movie.
And I'll pay to see it again. I'll stand by it. Oh, John
is-
C. Reilly, man.
That is without a doubt the worst Sherlock Holmes film ever made of all time.
What's
like-
the greatest one then?
The greatest
Some
one,
of the older ones.
Yeah, it's-
definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. In terms of specific film, I don't know. But of the films and television shows, the best one is a television show that was made in like the 80s. And I think it's called The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. I can't remember the name of the guy who was in it. But the guy who's in it, no joke, looks like the illustration of Sherlock Holmes from the original The Strand magazine, like cartoons.
Okay, hold on. Now, Sherlock Holmes, it's fictional, right?
Yeah.
It's not based
Yes.
on... Okay, I just need to
No,
get that
it's fiction.
confirmed for me.
Yeah.
Because I heard it in passing one point where it was just like, someone had said, oh, who's your favorite like figure in history? And they were like, oh, Sherlock Holmes. And they were like, oh, that's fictional. And I had to say to myself, like, wait a minute. Like, I thought Sherlock
way?
Holmes at least was based upon like a
hang on, let me look at the
genuine
picture.
like investigator or someone in history of time back in like the late 1800s.
Hang
you
on, I'm
doing?
bringing up the picture. Yes, that one. That's
Yes.
the best. That's the best Sherlock Holmes ever made.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes with Jeremy
Yeah.
Brett.
With Jeremy Brett. Jeremy Brett is the best Sherlock Holmes hands down, right? Yeah, and because not only does he look like the illustrations in The Strand, he has all of the mannerisms just down. By the way, also, like Jeremy Brett, oh, this is getting at me a little bit. Fucking one of the best actors ever made. Man was dying of cancer, right? Had some of the worst, like he was in stage 4 fucking cancer, right? And he bangs out 2 more seasons of the show, right? And just carries it like 100, 10 out of 10. before
Well, that
he
was
died.
like, if we're just like onto that vein right there. Who was the actress who played in the Harry Potter series, the Professor?
Maggie Smith.
Yeah, Maggie
Yeah.
Smith.
Yeah, she had cancer the entire time.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah.
Of filming the Harry Potter series, was it?
Yeah.
So for that 10 years.
Not the
It was- I'm
entire
pretty
10
sure for
years,
the
but it
later
was for the
stages.
later stages.
Yeah.
She was having cancer at the same
And
time.
even Alan Rickman in the later stages of his filming for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Was
bangs
sick
it
as
out.
well.
Yeah,
Fucking
absolutely.
respect right there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But he had that too. He
Yeah.
was doing it too. And this is back in the days before painkillers were a regular thing. That's what I'm saying. Man was in pain and still manages to pull it off. But yeah, that's the best one. Will Ferrell's one is the worst. Like I honestly,
But it's
Here's
so
why.
bad because it deliberately is bad that in fact
I don't
it
mind.
becomes okay.
I don't mind a funny Sherlock Holmes. I wouldn't mind doing a comedic Sherlock Holmes. Like I'm not against it. And some of the bits I thought were kind of okay, right? But like what annoyed me was if you're going to do a funny Sherlock Holmes, you can't change the fundamentals of Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes still has to be the most intelligent person in the room, and he wasn't. He was a buffoon. Right, he was a bumbling idiot. So and like even and same with John Watson. John Watson has to still be one of the smartest people in the room.
Yeah.
Right, but they were both bumbling idiots.
Like, you can still make that really funny.
yeah,
But
you
they
still
have to
could.
be cured of the
Because-
character.
There was one really good bit, which is right when I turned it off because I went, well, this is the best bit in the entire film. Like this is just, and it's still kind of trash. They were at the morgue, right? Because there's a murder that's just happened. They're about
Yeah.
to go on the hero's journey. So they're at the morgue, right? And they meet with a doctor from Boston, and she's a woman. And so they make this whole joke about like how, I mean, it's the late 1850s.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like women weren't doctors. Like, wow, isn't that amazing? You're a woman doctor. That's incredible. And John Watson says, wait a minute, you're Dr. So-and-so, the person who invented this technique to cure female hysteria. And she's like, yes, I did with electroshock therapy. And my patients even survived up to a week afterwards. Wow, what a golden age of medicine we live in. Yeah, there's hardly anything more to know. Did this whole joke. By the way, just an aside, female hysteria is another way of saying blue balls for women. Right, the cure for it was vibration of the clitoris. Right, I'm not even.
You know
think of
what?
that at the time.
I
I'm
can
not even
totally,
kidding.
I
I'm not
can
even-
totally see that.
It was in the DST thing, right? The medical diagnostics book up until the 1920s, and that was the cure for it. Was direct stimulation of the clitoris, right? Basically, an orgasm.
We've
like,
come
solved the
full
problem,
circle.
right?
It was cured by post-cum clarity.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I didn't even realize they made a fucking post-cum clarity joke in that film.
No, they didn't. They were just making the joke like here's like this stupid not a medical condition which is cured by not a medical technique, right? And they were just making jokes like, oh, it's the 1850s. Like, of course, they're both doctors, but they still don't. Modern medicine isn't a thing.
I think the joke there is that apparently cured it up to a week.
Yeah,
Would not last that long nowadays.
no,
No.
they survived.
24 hours.
No, they survived a week and then they died. Yeah,
If I ever have to survive a week again, I'll kill myself.
So it was that was the best bit in the whole movie though. And then after that, I was like, well, that's it. I'm just turning it off. That was the best bit in the whole film, in my opinion. Other it was trash. Yeah. Oh my god. Which is a shame because I like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. I think they could have done a better job. That's part of what disappoints me.
Well, that's why I watched it.
Yeah.
Like John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell, when they team up, it is a fucking hit.
That's what I mean. But it wasn't.
And look, in my opinion, it wasn't trash.
It was
But
trash.
fair,
But
look.
you would put over anything that had Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly in it
True.
anyway. So your opinion is kind of biased here.
It is.
Yeah,
Heavily.
look, that's fair.
But with that, I think we'll just wrap it up there because we have come full circle.
We have come full circle.
We've
Yep.
come full circle.
We've come.
Ha
full circle.
ha ha! Don't be proud of yourself.
So, if you like this episode, I want to, first of all, before I do that, I want to thank David and JJ for joining me this week. Thank you so much.
No worries.
And if you like this episode, please, tell a friend about it. Tell your friends, say, hey, have a listen to this episode, or, put on your favorite episode, or
Hit us up on Instagram.
hit us up on Instagram, download it, download it onto a USB if you want to be old school about it, or burn it to a
Floppy
CD
disk.
even. Floppy. Nah, I don't think we'll fit on a floppy. If you can make it fit on a floppy disk, like, more power to you. Yeah, absolutely. The thing is just tell a friend. That's the most important thing. And with that, this has been Pint Party. Cheers.
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 This podcast is part of the Hartefact Podcast Network. For more of this and our other podcasts, head to hartefactstudios.com.au.